Oh man.
Good card last
Oh,
night, though.
what's up, Coach? I like the coach hat, my guy. Looking good, man. I
You
need one of
know,
those. As you can see by my fucking glowing red forehead, I could have used one of those yesterday when I was at the Muay Thai fights, man.
man. You know what I did yesterday, or rather Friday night? I slept outside the OU Stadium to get this. They do.
Oh yeah, it's the big sale day or whatever. You're a true Norman local, true OU fan if you know about it. What is it? End of summer sale day? What is
The
it?
surplus sale.
Surplus sale. Yeah, you can go get
Yeah.
all your OU gear. But how much of a discount is it? We talking like
I got olive ones that are laceless. They're straps instead of laces, and they're $30. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's worth it. You got
Yeah,
you know.
I got
Okay.
a pair of white sweatpants there, Jordan, that are magnetic bottom joggers, and they're 100, but I got them for $10. Yeah,
Nice, man. Next
yeah,
year I'm gonna have to send you some money, man. I have to give you you have to give me a couple of XLs.
yeah, for real. Get all that Jordan certified stuff.
But yeah, man, there was fights last night. We're gonna talk about them, and I got to own this one. Every time I like talk shit on a card or say I'm not excited for a card, turns out to be a heater. I'm gonna start just doing that shit on purpose. Just
You know what's starting to
self-fulfilling prophecy.
throw me off so hard is I keep doing that, and what I keep saying to myself is like, man, Ige Zombie's gonna be like a banger of a fight, but I don't know about the card. And then it happens, and the card actually kind of outdoes the end fight. I feel like a lot of these main events recently have been so one-sided.
Yeah, no, that literally. I mean, that's pretty much how I ended episode 50. Was me talking about how I wasn't that stoked for this card, and like, yeah, I said I was stoked for the main event, but the card looked a little weak. Literally, words that came out of my mouth, and the card did not disappoint. It was a fun time. This is episode 51 of Beefy Boys Breakdown. We're breaking down UFC Fight Night, Ige versus Korean Zombie, a.k.a. Chan Sung Jung, what his mama named him. And, yeah, man, I mean, just overall entertaining card.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I had to watch this card on like essentially tape delay on ESPN Plus. You know, I didn't watch it live because I was watching live Muay Thai fights yesterday in Santa Cruz. And God damn it, I love combat sports, man. It was just it was awesome. The crowd was awesome. The fighters were awesome. It was essentially like California just opened up on the 15th, so
That's
like
right.
shit like this
That's
is
right.
just starting to happen. So it was cool, man. Everything was back to normal. We were all enjoying fights. You know, there was everything from like small children. I'm talking like probably 7, 8 years old, all the way to like grown men. It was point Muay Thai, which was, you know, I respect all the fighters. You know, they're putting it on the line. I still saw one dude get slept by a spinning wheel kick, but
That is insane.
no elbows, and like they're wearing headgear and shin guards and stuff, and I think it's only 2-minute rounds, so it's a little different than like straight up the Muay Thai we're used to, but it was still super dope to watch live. And I said I mean, you headgear, whatever rules you want to put under it. If you eat a spinning wheel kick to the head, you're going to sleep. And I saw that
100%.
in person yesterday. So that was cool, man. But yeah, just a real appreciation for the fighters and the combat sports. Shout out to everybody that was at the Santa Cruz Fight Club yesterday. And yeah, man, I just want to, start the podcast off talking about that, man, because it was impressive. Like I said, there was this little girl. She couldn't have been older than 8. And I swear she was mini Joanne Calderwood. She had the blue shorts, the blonde braids, and it was like, bro, I don't know, like, how many people out there have watched like an elementary school age girl just get the work put in on her? It was insane.
I've literally never seen like young girls like fight with like train strikes. That's crazy.
But it was cool though, because man, it was just crazy. You saw stuff out of like you never would expect to see out of like an 8-year-old girl. Like straight up, like this one girl, the girl looked like Joanne Calderwood, straight savage, just marching down, kicks, power. Like she was literally trying to finish this girl. And then the other girl was fucking like Clay Guida, just eating bombs and marching forward and fucking, it was nuts.
Really?
No, it was nuts. No, like most of the young kids weren't like that. Most of the kids, it looked like kids fight. It wasn't the most aggressive, But these two kids were natural born badasses, man.
Wow.
They were getting, like there were older, like teenage boys fighting over here. The entire crowd was watching like the 8-year-old girl thing. It was an actual banger, bro. It was
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and then just, learning. It's cool just seeing all the stuff that we learn and watching the fights and doing the breakdowns and then seeing it up close and personal. Like, just how like technique can beat athleticism. Like I saw there was this stud athlete, like he stood out from the crowd. Like he looked like a wide receiver, big, like he was probably 6'2", 6'3", just shredded, athletic. And he was fighting at like 180, and all the other guys that were fighting at 180 were like 5'10", 5'9", and like
right.
But the guy he fought was just straight up just throwing him to the ground and clinching up with him, and just like all the stuff that you would do to neutralize a long athletic fighter. It was
literally
really,
like the way Daniel Cormier fights people.
Yeah, man. But yeah, we'll get to these prelims. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of share that experience. You know, it was a good time.
It's tight, bro. Like the little girls thing would have thrown me for a loop.
It was cool, man, because like right when you start to feel bad, she would like march forward, and I'm just like, all right, Jen, you got this. Like, you don't need me to feel bad for you.
Like, you savage.
Yeah, badasses, man, for real. But it was cool, man. But speaking of badass women, that's how we started the card off last night.
Good transition.
Yeah, man. We had Casey O'Neill, 6-0, undefeated, up and coming flyweight. Plus 145 underdog. A lot of close money lines last night, and a lot of upsets last night. Fighting Laura Procopio, minus 170, favorite. I said fighting at flyweight. And, man, I love this fight for the simple reason it just made everybody put their foots in their mouth. Like, the whole lead up and everything was talking about how Procopio's the grappler, O'Neill's the striker. And then,
I felt like they were giving, like, a lot of shine to Procopio, honestly, to be going up. Like, what I mean is to have someone be 6-0 and you're touting their opponent is kind of a weird strat as far as like building your next star at that weight class that needs a star.
Yeah, and Procopio, I mean, she was the favorite, so maybe they just didn't want to, come down on the losing side. But either way, what I'm getting at is in round one, I thought Procopio outstruck the so-called striker, and then as we'll see later on in the fight, O'Neill out-grappled the so-called grappler. That's what I loved about it. It was just kind of topsy-turvy.
Funny, yeah, that's actually hilarious you said that, too, because I actually wrote word for word Procopio's getting the better of the striking exchanges this round, in the first round.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, she led in both quantity. Sometimes we have the kind of philosophical debate, quality versus quantity, but Procopio made that easy on us because she led in both quality and quantity. So, yeah, I think it was, 10-9 real easy for Procopio. She also had some nice clinch work, but, we love when fighters make those, in-between round adjustments and come out and change the narrative, midway through a fight. And I think that's exactly what O'Neill did. Because like I alluded to, she took down the grappler and pretty much kept her there and did some really nice ground and pound. And was, like I said, they set it up as striker versus grappler, and the so-called striker was dominant on the ground in round two.
I felt like O'Neill kind of had that like bully-style ground game, too, where it was like, she just kind of was stronger and faster to the position than Procopio was. It wasn't necessarily that her technique was like super, super sharp. It was really more so the fact that she was just like bully beatdowning her almost.
She was keeping her there, just kind of, muscling her. I feel it, in Procopio, being jiu-jitsu heavy, it was, it was more about the technique. And she just kind of got manhandled a little bit. I feel it. And then, round three, speaking of, out-grappling the grappler, O'Neill gets the rear naked choke finish. But she had her back, and she had this, like, what is it, like a reverse crucifix?
Reverse crucifix where she literally figure fours the arm and then traps the wrist.
From the back.
It's like we talked about last week, too. It's literally only because you have a glove on that you can't escape that position. So in regular jiu-jitsu, that's not really a position you can get. Because the glove gets caught in between the leg and the body, and you can't, like, sneak the glove out. But if it was just your hand, you could just slide it out.
Yeah, that's a very great point, much like a wrestling shoe in a single leg. But yeah, great point. But man, I thought even if she didn't get the finish, O'Neill was well on her way to a 10-8. Round three was super dominant. They said dominant on the ground too, and all they kept talking about how Procopio was so much better than O'Neill on the ground, which. I mean, they were working with the information they had. I know I keep kind of shitting on him, but O'Neill. Well, I think it's just a feather in O'Neill's cap. Like, I can grapple too, ladies. Like, I'm here. I'm game no matter where the fight goes. And like I said, I thought it was telling that O'Neill was taking the fight to the ground. It wasn't like she kind of ended up there. Like, she wanted to be on the ground with Procopio.
That was exactly what she wanted. Like, I think in the second round when she got on the ground and realized, like, oh, this girl it doesn't have what I have here. And I think that was a mentality turning point. It might be the reason she dominated so hard in the third is because she came out not worrying about what would happen on the ground because she knew she'd win on the ground.
Fair points, man. And it's like, I know we say this every time there's a young little, hot shot flyweight coming up that looks real impressive. But seriously, flyweight division, for the most part, rankings won everything except for the champ is up for grabs. So, I mean, it's wide open for young talent to make a run. And it is exciting because we always talk about how much that division needs life. But, yeah, we'll keep it pushing, though.
I really like Casey O'Neill's, like, the way they could build her moving forward, too. She's, like, not an unattractive person, so they can sell that angle, which sucks, but that's just a part of the game, right?
Well, and that angle sells itself, quite frankly. You know what I mean?
True,
it doesn't take too much, you know.
But then she's also Scottish, but trains and has lived in Australia since she was 9, so she has this weird accent that's like this combo accent. I don't know. I like her.
Yeah, I like her whole game. And her fighting style is super
That's what I mean.
well-rounded.
Yeah, like her whole game is like strong.
Yeah, for sure, man. But yeah, so that kind of set the tone of underdogs cashing and yeah, that would kind of be a theme of the night, and the theme of finishes. There was a lot of finishes.
I think there were 6 or 7
finishes. Like multiple first-round finishes.
This I think was the fastest. But if you want to introduce it, man, this fight so I didn't look up any of the results before I watched them, right? So I'm just like watching this, and I was like, did that just happen? That like I had to go back and rewind it like 4 times because I was like, holy shit, did he really just go out that fast?
Well, especially with the whole context. So, yeah, we'll introduce it. It's Joaquin Silva, minus 120 favorite, fighting at lightweight against Ricky Glenn, plus 100 underdog. So pretty much a coin flip in Vegas. It's a fighting at lightweight. And, man, so Ricky Glenn hasn't fought in, like, what was it, like 30 months or so? Yeah, like 2.5 years. And, I mean, just injury after injury. I mean, man, we're talking knees. We're talking ankles. We're talking neck. Like some of the career enders for a lot of folks. I mean, 2.5 years. I mean, this is kind of second career. I mean, you could say that first career was ended. I mean, honestly, that's a long time. I think that
and the rehab work you got to put in for all those too. Like everyone that's gone through any kind of rehab knows too, man. Rehab's tough if you get like a pretty serious injury.
Respect to him for even, making it back to the big show for sure. And then, but I mean, so the story of it was like a first round KO, but the thing that stood out to me was Ricky Glenn essentially knocked him out 3 separate times. He dropped him out on the feet, flash KO. It was Mark Smith on the fight, I do believe, and we love Mark Smith.
Was Mike Beltran.
Beltran. Yeah, okay. So that actually
still like Beltran though.
I do like Beltran, but it makes
way more sense.
Yes. Yeah. So he drops him. I think what was it with the right? But he drops him once, essentially flash KOs him. Like I'm pretty sure between the time the punch hit and between him hitting the ground, he was unconscious. The ground kind of wakes him up. Glenn hops on with clean ground and pound. So it was like side control ground and pound straight to the button, like straight to the jaw. A lot of ground and pound is kind of inaccurate. You're just kind of hoping to land. It's partially blocked. But no, this was straight to the side of the jaw from
straight, right, like side control.
Right fucking here. Drops him again, like 3 ground and pound shots in. And then he essentially – then Beltran is like trying to give him every chance to intelligently defend himself, and then he gets ground and pounded out for what I consider the 3rd knockout in like 10 seconds. So
dude, it was a vicious finish. It was, like honestly, because like you said, it looked like he went out on the feet, and then he starts eating shots as he's like somehow trying to stand back up, goes back out again on his back, but then like he keeps eating shots to the point where his legs go up into a guard, and so then I guess Beltran was like, I guess he's pulling guard.
Did you by chance write down the bonus winners?
I only wrote the fight of the night. I didn't see who won the TKO and I guess performance bonuses now.
There was a lot of competition. I'm looking it up right now. There was a ton of competition because
the first 3 on the main card. Folks
were going to sleep.
Yeah, the first 3 on the main card, and then you had I think the second fight of the night. You got another one in there too.
So this did not get a bonus. So that just proves how entertaining last night's card was. Because this was a fantastic, vicious first round KO for a guy that hasn't fought in 2.5 years, and it still didn't get a bonus. I really hope he got a Dana Duffel, but I guess that's a story for another day.
You'd hope, man.
But yeah, second underdog in a row cashes, and man, there's just like I said, the dogs were barking last night, and people were going to sleep. Last night's card should have been sponsored by Tempur-Pedic. But yeah, we got the beefiest of Beefy Boys up next. We got Josh Parisian, minus 150 favorite, fighting Roque Martinez, plus 125. And I feel like these guys are just like, I could have sworn these guys have fought before. Like, I don't know, but I felt the same way last week whenever what was it, Collier and the other beefy boy, Felipe fought. Like,
that's the thing is there's like 6 or 7 heavyweights they all brought on at once at the start of COVID, right? There's Parker Porter, Josh Parisian, Roque Martinez, Carlos Felipe, Collier. But then you also have like Bozer. You have Dontel Mays.
I'm stoked for Bozer fight next week against OSP at heavyweight. Did you know that? OSP took the last short notice fight moving up to heavyweight to fight Bozer.
That's going to be a good fight, actually.
Co-main. I'm pretty sure it's co-main, yeah.
Good for Bozer.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, they brought in all these young heavyweights because they're just trying to put life in the division.
Fat as fuck.
They're all fat as fuck, dude. The only one that's not fat is Dawkins, and that's it. And he's the guy that's going to the top 15. It's like, oh, you got an in-shape heavyweight, and he's doing better than all the out-of-shape heavyweights. Imagine that.
Yeah, for sure, man. But I gotta say, I did enjoy this fight. Like it gave you everything you want from a fat boy fight. It was a banger. They were swinging. They were eating shots. They were landing shots. I mean, it pretty much went down how you think it would.
Dude, Martinez has a win over Mirko Krokop in his career.
He does. It's crazy. That's a fact. That's a fact. He's fought in some big names, 100%. How'd you see round 1 going down, brother?
So I thought Martinez was doing a really good job of like keeping the positional control. Honestly, his defense against the fence was a little better whenever he did get his back put up against it at the few moments that happened. And he just did a lot more damage, I thought, in the first round.
Yeah, the volume, the output. Yeah,
this is a good example too of volume and strikes landed. Like Martinez was way higher on the volume, I'm pretty sure, on both sides.
Yeah, Martinez had a fantastic first round, which when you're built like that, you better have a fantastic first round. But yeah, man, and then round 2, I mean, I thought I know we're cracking a lot of physique jokes and stuff, but it really actually does play a factor in this fight. I thought essentially cardio ended up being the deal breaker because, I mean, both guys were landing, both guys were tough, both guys were strong, both guys had power. But I do think at the end of the day, the cardio is kind of what made the difference. And I thought in round 2, Parisian was the fresher fighter. I thought he was able to keep Martinez up against the fence. Not because of technique or he was doing anything different than he did in the first round, because Martinez was gassed. And so yeah, I thought that was the name of that's how I saw the second round. How did you see it?
I totally agree with that. I thought that Parisian started to be able to take over the round a little more, just based on he wasn't as tired, right? Like it's easier to be active when you're not as tired.
Yeah, and he was still tired, but just not as tired as Roque, for sure. I agree. And then, I thought round 3 was honestly a coin flip. I thought
it was a 50-50 round, man.
It was so close. It was hard to score. I was dying to hear what you thought.
I didn't look up the strike numbers for that round. I probably should have.
Me neither.
But, man, I felt like Martinez was coming forward. He was controlling where the fight was taking place for the most part. But he was also eating a lot of shots to come forward like that. Like it was almost like a Terminator-style approach. I don't know if it was the smartest, but I also thought he started to take control of the round later on into the round. Like I thought he finished stronger.
I honestly saw the exact opposite. I actually liked how Parisian ended the round, as he had to kind of start to clinch it up a little bit. I thought Parisian ended the round stronger. I don't know. But I mean that proves how much of a coin flip it was.
Yeah, and it was a hard round to score too because like. Both guys were so tired they weren't really defending strikes very well, so they were just kind of landing strikes. But they were both so tired again that they didn't have the power to put each other out.
Yeah, true.
So it was a weird third round for sure.
So you went Martinez round 3. I went Parisian, and it's crazy because we're both represented in the judges. We had a split decision here. 2 judges gave it to Parisian, 1 judge gave it to Martinez. Like I said, round 3 was a coin flip. Each fighter each took a round in the first 2 rounds, and so the third round was essentially up for interpretation. I'm not mad at the split decision. It was an entertaining fight. Parisian first favorite to cover last night, and we'll keep it pushing because this next fight was a lot of fun, and I thought that it was as advertised. This fight was
this is one I had circled. We're literally coming into it. I was like, I love Simmelsberger. I love Chaos Williams. Like this is going to be a good fight.
Yeah, they're I mean, almost mirror images of each other. Like, great
Essentially,
athletes, power punchers, going for knockouts. You know,
Chaos Williams' hand speed is crazy. That
yes,
was
yes.
the big difference I thought in this whole fight, just as an entirety, was his hands were fast.
And I thought his technique was crisp, and his decisions were sound. More importantly,
Maybe that's what it was decision making too. Like maybe he was more concise.
like for a guy named Chaos that is known for first round finishes and fighting another guy that's chaotic and likes the first round finish. I thought he was really measured. I thought his strategy was sound. I thought he stuck to the game plan. Like I thought he fought a heady fight, which I don't think there's ever an example you could say that about Chaos Williams. I mean, largely because his fights are like sub 20 seconds. But I'm saying he fought I thought his fight IQ was like, the hand speed, the power, but we knew that. I thought already. What I learned last night is that he learned a lot from his previous fights, and he's been getting, listening to his coaches and putting in some work. I thought he just looked great.
You could tell he listens to his coaches when he's in there too, because at one point his coach called something out to him, and he did it, and his coach was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant." And then called the right combo, and then he threw the right combo. And his coach was like, "Yeah, it's perfect." And I was
just video game.
That's literally what I felt like. I was like, "Damn, he just called the wrong thing to him. Like he could have got him fucked up."
Puppet master. But that's cool though. That's a good coach fighter relationship for sure. 100%. But yeah, so Chaos was minus 160, and as the favorite, and Semmelsberger plus 135. I like Semmelsberger, former college football player. He was a 4-year starter. He was a strong safety, so just super athletic guy, man. It's obvious when you watch him fight. But yeah, round one, literally, I don't think a kick was thrown, a takedown was attempted, a clinch was engaged in. It was just hand fest 2021.
Literally the only clinch was the very start of the fight, where right after Semmelsberger got elbowed in the face and it split his nose open. Like that was in the first 15 seconds. They were on the cage, and then it didn't go back to the fence after that for the whole round.
Yeah, and both guys did a good job of distance management and keeping it where they wanted it. And that's something else I learned from those Muay Thai fights yesterday. Like that's a main thing that separates a high level striker from a new striker. Is like a new striker moves in a straight line and it ends up just in clinches or up against one side or another. But the ability to kind of circle around and keep the distance and
step off the corner and hit the angle.
Yeah. That's what really kind of separates. That's the jump off point between low level striking and I guess mid-level striking.
That's literally the differential between Dominic Cruz and most guys in the UFC years ago, was that his footwork's so crazy that he gets these angles that guys weren't ready for all the time.
Yeah, no, I'm really starting to appreciate that, and I thought both guys did a good job of that, but more specifically Chaos. But yeah, I had round 1 10-9 Williams on damage, volume, and this fight was as advertised. It was a heater.
Yeah, so. This fight was great. Semmelsberger was, covered in blood from the start of the fight, so it just gave it that extra bit of carnage, if that's what you're wanting.
Yeah, exactly. I thought round 2 was kind of like what the crux of this fight. Like round 2 is kind of the only round that's kind of up for debate. How'd you see it?
So definitely 10-9 first round to Chaos, and then the second round I wrote that they were just scrapping. But essentially,
oh yeah.
Essentially, I still scored it to Chaos, and like you're saying, I think that's the perfect microcosm of this fight, is that he was just going to be a little bit better.
So round 2, I actually did give to Semmelsberger. It was razor thin. It was an absolute war. Both guys had their moments. Totally kind of subjective. I feel like but it was a super close round. I think that in round 2, and it makes sense kind of on their strategy, I thought Semmelsberger landed the cleaner shots, the more impactful shots. But Williams was stringing together long combinations. So they were both kind of conceding that from the jump. But I thought in round 2 was the only round that Semmelsberger was able to really make it work for him. I think in rounds 1 and round 3, the counter puncher's kind of approach kind of bit him in the ass, and Chaos kind of overwhelmed him with volume and power and strategy. But Semmelsberger was kind of throwing more single shots, waiting for counters, and I thought round 2 he made it work for him just enough by a fucking nut hair. But hey, it was a banger of a round. I'm not saying you're tripping for giving it to Chaos by any stretch.
That's the one round where I did write that I could see this round of Semmelsberger. I thought 1 and 3 were pretty much clear to Chaos, but 2 was, I actually wrote I could see it to Semmelsberger. So
For sure. Even the judges agreed with this. One judge 30-27, two judges had it like me 29-28. Either way, unanimous decision for Chaos. And like I said, I'm stoked on and this is how I know I'm becoming like a fight nerd because I learned more about Chaos in this fight and feel better about him moving forward than any of those fast knockouts.
Yeah, like the Abdul Razak Al Hassan fight and all those. Like, you learn nothing about the man in those fights. You literally just see him go out, throw one or two good shots, and it's over. Whereas in this fight, you see him go to war for 15 minutes, and it's like, okay. And he actually throws 6-punch combinations. He moves around. He stays off the fence pretty well.
Yeah.
I was surprised Simmelsberger didn't shoot for a takedown. You'd think a guy that played strong safety probably has a pretty good shot.
I mean, he put all his eggs in the basket of his right hand, and he almost wasn't wrong. I mean, a lot of those punches that he landed puts it down. Actually, another thing I want to, before we keep it pushing, that doesn't get talked about because he rarely gets touched, but can Chaos Williams eat a fucking shot or what?
Oh, yeah.
He could have gone to a photo shoot after that absolute war. It was crazy. It's not that he was Floyd Mayweather out there, wasn't getting touched. No. He was eating bombs. It just literally had no effect. And I'm not talking about the Shane Burgos or Diaz where they're destroyed, but they keep going anyway. I mean, I literally Teflon.
Yeah. Literally not even like swelling under his eyes. I was like, what the hell? And even more so, Simmelsberger was landing like pretty clean shots, and it's not like he didn't land like it wasn't like the striking numbers here were like 100-20. They were pretty damn close, actually.
Yeah.
Well, the big differential was strikes thrown. Strikes landed was actually kind of close.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think like that kind of goes when we were first saying about Williams' strategy and game plan and fight IQ. He won the fight.
Yeah, just outpace him.
For sure, man.
More output.
Yeah, man, the great fight.
Next fight was sick as well.
Yeah,
and honestly,
it was fucking what's up with the fucking elbow gods lately? Dude. We have angered the elbow gods recently in the MMA community.
I don't know where it's come from in the MMA community where they're just saying it's better to be tough. It's not. Ask Tony Ferguson. It's not better to just be tough.
I was about to say, too many people need to fucking put down the Tony Ferguson highlight tapes.
Yeah, and just tap. Like, if it gets that deep and your shit pops, tap. Because you're going to be out for 6 months now, this poor girl.
And like I said, as a guy who's hyperextended his elbow and had a few different elbow injuries, elbows don't bounce back the same. Like I feel like I've had knee injuries too, and my knee bounced back way better than my elbow. Like my elbow still feels a little weak to this day. But yeah, man. But we'll keep it pushing because I mean we did plenty of foreshadowing and straight up spoiling there. But we had Kanako Murata plus 110 slight underdog fighting Vina Jandiroba. Minus 130 favorite. Jandiroba's the 13th ranked strawweight, and man, she looked like it last night.
She was piecing Murata up earlier. I honestly thought that the first could have been a 10-8 if she didn't pull guard, because I thought she was piecing her up so much. But then it's like in hindsight, maybe that should be a 10-8 because she literally took a weapon away from her for the rest of the fight in the first round.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I gave the 10-8 in round 2.
Right. No, I did for sure, but I'm just saying, like, all that damage occurs essentially in round 1.
It does. Yeah. It's just kind of a hindsight.
But it was like, but you can't know it because Murata is just too tough.
Yeah. No, for sure. I thought she got out of the armbar. So did the commentary.
Everyone did.
I mean, everybody. She had us all fooled for the first round at least. But yeah, man, a great fight. I thought round 1 was a very close round. I mean, like, in the moment, I thought it was a close round. It's like knowing what we know now, we know a lot of damage was inflicted. But in the moment, watching it live, I thought round 1 was a super close round. I thought Jandiroba had her hurt with the hands. Before people forget the story of the fight's going to be the armbar and the elbow, but Jandiroba was piecing her up with the hands.
She was tagging her up.
Like I thought watching it that Jandiroba's best path to victory was with the hands. Because, Murata's known for her wrestling. And so essentially just Vina was the better woman last night no matter where the fight went. She dominated.
Domination is the right word. Like, she literally just every phase of the fight was just better. And she looked like a savage in there.
Yeah, and she looked like, okay, I'm the 13th ranked fighter. You're putting me in here with an unranked fighter that you're trying to build. And I'm going to show you that you guys made the wrong choice and she shouldn't be in here with me. And, I mean, she dominated.
Yeah. And like Jenny Roba just lost to Mackenzie Dern, but was winning the fight the whole way, and then Dern pulled off that submission at the very end of the fight, which was crazy. But like I still like Jenny Roba as far as like her matchups for girls, like 6 through 10, fun. So at 115, that's fun.
And just the well-rounded nature of it. I mean, just super high level on the ground, power in the hands. Maybe not just elite technique. Like she's not Rose Namajunas on the feet by any stretch, but the power and like the ability to hurt a strawweight female. I mean, it's real. It's real.
I feel like she also has a pretty big frame for the weight class as well. Like 115. Like I forget that they're 115. Sure. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Like and so actually. I witnessed this firsthand yesterday. So we weren't just randomly at that Muay Thai fight. We were there to support Nina's friend that she used to work with in San Francisco. So we actually knew one of the fighters. And she was the weight class. It was kind of like, I think 130 to 140 was kind of like an open, like 130 to 140. And she came in on weight, and she had to cut some weight, not a ton, but she had a good weight cut and everything. And then the girl she was fighting came in 6 pounds over. And watching it in person, it was like so obvious. Like the thud of that extra 6 pounds on those kicks, like really? Muay Thai, was essentially everything. Like it was stopping her in her tracks. Like our friend unfortunately, didn't get the win, but like because the girl she fought came in at 6 pounds over, and like it was like the difference in the fight. Every shot was just that much heavier. The clinches, she wasn't really able to be moved. I mean, she was, and the crazy part about it though, like real talk, like I know she beat our friend or whatever, but it's martial arts, that happens. And our friend took the L like any true martial artist would. But the girl was only 15 years old, and she was a monster. Like a 15-year-old girl, like
fighting grown women,
fighting grown women and women, like and winning, like. I mean, how big is she going to be by the time she's able to go pro? Because like, it was an AMI fight. So, like, by the time she's able to go pro, she's going to be like a lightweight, like some PFL. I could see her in the PFL one day or some shit, a lightweight. Because, I mean, her body's not – she's not even done growing. And she couldn't make 140.
Yeah, she's going to be she's going to fight at 55. Like, she's probably Clarissa Shields style build.
And like, her kicks, when she threw them, they were just so big. Like, it looked like a light heavyweight throwing out like a body kick. Just those tree trunks.
That big swinging power.
Yeah, man. But sorry, I digress. But
let me ask you a question about the Murata fight real fast.
Well, yeah, because we kind of glossed over round 2.
Yeah,
I got us off.
No, it's all good, because that's actually where my question comes into play is, if you're her corner, for 3 minutes we watched her hold her arm at her side and literally couldn't pick it up to even defend the hooks that were just raining in on the right side of her face.
Yeah, so in round 1, for those that, I don't know, we didn't do the best job, Jenny Roba got Murata in a deep arm bar in round 1. And it lied. Us, the commentators, everybody in the building thought that Murata had managed to pull her arm out. But little did we know that the damage had already been done. It was kind of just all wrapped up. You couldn't see it. It wasn't like Oliveira, Tony Ferguson were all out in the open for God and everybody. It was kind of, they were all tangled up. You couldn't really see it. But in the moment, it looked like Murata had escaped it. But not in reality, she didn't. And there was a lot of damage done to that elbow. So in round 2, the whole round, it was the left elbow. Yeah, it was the left elbow.
Her left
Murata.
elbow, yeah.
She literally, her arm was like dangling. Like she couldn't raise it. She was fighting like this, literally with an arm tied behind her back, essentially one hand. And I'll be real, man. I thought the ref should have stopped it, because and here's my precedent for that. I'm not being emotional or soft. When there's a bad cut, they call the doctor in to examine that cut. But they allowed the elbow was dangling. You don't got to be a doctor. It was fucking dangling. It was fucked. I mean, everybody knew it was fucked. I mean, if Bisping knew it was fucked, you don't got to be a doctor. And like, but I mean, it was obvious she could, and also to the letter of the law, she couldn't intelligently defend. I wasn't a big fan of was it her? I think it was even Herb Dean, which is whack because he's Mr. Early Stoppage.
Oh no, this one was Tagnoni.
Okay, I'm whipping on my ref names. I'm sorry, everybody, but seriously though, like I don't know. I thought not that the ref should have stopped it, but that the ref should have called in the doctor to stop it much sooner.
So at the end of the round, he did tell the doctor go look at her arm, right?
Yeah, but what about the previous 5 minutes?
But it's not like she was like getting she was getting beat up, but she didn't get dropped. She wasn't like getting more damage on the joint.
No, but dude, She was taking head kicks to right here. She was
But they weren't putting her
here.
down. But they weren't putting her down. She was still moving around. She still had one hand up. So she was intelligently defending. It was impossible for her to physically defend.
I guess we can play that semantics game. I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying as a ref.
I didn't need to see the rest of that round, especially because in the end, it didn't even matter. We had the same result.
All right, but check this out. If I break my left hand in a fight and I can't punch anymore, but I've already won 2 rounds.
You can still hold it up and defend yourself, man. It's totally different.
Now, let me ask you this, too. Did she hurt her elbow and her shoulder? Because why would you not be able to pick even if your elbow's done, this is not my elbow. You know what I mean? Like, why was her arm like that?
Well, I've had elbow injuries, bro. Like, man, it's toast, man. Like I feel you, like, kinesiology-wise, you're probably right. But, like, when your elbow's that toast.
Well,
and it could even, like, if you hold it up at like this angle or something, it's gravity. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I'd rather that happen because then the ref has to stop it because he has to see like an apparent inability to use it.
Maybe that's like a whole ligament extra or something. I don't know. That's more damage. I don't know, man. Like I said, maybe I empathize because I've had bad elbow injuries before, and I know how like you can't use that like the whole side of your body damn near. Like I relate, I guess. Maybe that's why I'm having such a big I don't know. It's like I said, especially now, if we're gonna do hindsight 2020, if Murata's able to pull some miraculous comeback or whatever or eke out a decision, then of course you're right. But when the fight stopped after the second round by doctor stoppage anyway, what the fuck was the point of just But I, from your perspective, Murata actually agrees with you. Murata was actually upset that the fight was stopped. So I'm not acting like I don't see both sides.
She's an asshole for acting that way, by the way. That's ridiculous,
well,
no,
that's just a competitor.
Yeah, but, I mean, dude, honestly, if I'm out there and, like, if I actually, like, broke my ankle and, like, really couldn't even, like, put pressure on it, I would look at my teammates and be like, sorry, guys, just it is what it is.
Yeah, but the lower body and upper body is different. But, man, Kanako Murata's a psycho, and she's super tough. And Vina Jandiroba is definitely, like, legitimately dangerous to straw weights that she fights.
But, all right, but hold on, because I still have this crazy question to ask.
Okay, no, my bad.
Is where does the blame lie for this fight not being stopped sooner? Because it should have been stopped sooner. I don't disagree with that. I know I just made that whole case, but my case was not that it's the ref's job. I think it's her corner. Because she comes over after round 1 where all this damage occurs, they had to have been in the corner, and she had to have told them, I can't use my arm.
Didn't fucking Masvidal win the fucking BMF belt due to a doctor stoppage from a cut? But that happened in between rounds as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, but bro, we've seen refs call a doctor in and stop a round, and we've seen it happen both ways. We've seen the doctor say they can keep fighting, and we've seen fights be waved off. It's not like there's not precedent, or I'm saying some weird scenario they need to break the rules are created. No, like we've seen it happen, and I'm sorry, a cut over the eyebrow compared to a dangling arm, to me, it's not even in the same ballpark. Like I don't understand how you're like see, to me the cut doesn't bother me because I like watching Nate Diaz fights, and so the cuts don't even bother me whenever they stop it, because we've seen that happen. We've seen a ref see a bad cut, call in the doctor in the middle of a round, and wave the fight off. So, like I said, if you're going to do it for a cut from an elbow on like a veteran fighter that has a lot of scar tissue, then why are we letting this happen? I don't know. Maybe that's my perspective. I'm not saying I'm like right and like there's no way I can possibly be wrong, but I feel strongly about this.
The doctor did the right thing because the minute he came in and the minute he grabbed it, he was like, oh no, this is we're done.
But I think that goes to my point. Like it was bad.
But I'm saying the ref should have stopped it in the second round when he saw that she couldn't defend with the arm or with the way the arm was being held. But what I'm saying is it shouldn't even get to that point. Because her corner had to have said, I can't use my arm. Like, because they're giving her tips, and she's like, I think my arm popped in the but they speak in Japanese, so we can't know.
Yeah.
But my point is like, as a corner, you let her go out for 1 minute, maybe, if you just want to, if she's like, no, I don't stop. The minute she can't pick her arm up to block a punch and she's eating head kicks, I'm literally throwing a towel in.
But, man, you got to also, like, this, I don't know if this is even PC or not, but I mean this from, like, a purely, like, historical context, like, actual what I know about their culture. Like,
that samurai spirit?
Like, if anybody's gonna go out on their shield, it's a Japanese person, man. Like dead ass. Like, get mad at that if you want. Like, that's their culture. Like, they'd probably be proud of that themselves. I mean, I'm not gonna.
Oh yeah,
them,
no. If you know 1920s to 19, if you know the pre-World War II Japan, like they literally play up their samurai culture, and people that had samurai bloodlines were actually like venerated military
and the
ranking people. Right.
You know what I mean?
It all comes from that. It really does come from that.
Watch a documentary on Iwo Jima and how they went out fighting to the last man and shit. You know what I mean? So maybe that came into play. I'm just saying. But we can keep it pushing because, I mean, at the end of the day, super impressive victory for Jandy Roba, and I don't want to take it away.
Yeah, I don't want to take away from it.
But yeah, I don't know. I could have gone without seeing a second round, just me personally.
Oh, 100%. But I'm saying, do you think the ref should have stopped in the corner?
Yes, the ref. I do, because we've seen it before.
Not the corner?
Stupid ass cut. But I mean, why can't? It's not like they're mutually exclusive. Like, they probably.
Well, but the corner could do it before the ref, because, like you and I just said, we didn't know that her arm popped in the first round.
I'm just saying, bro, I don't want to see it. And like, the next time I see a fucking ref calling a doctor for an eyebrow cut, I'm gonna throw my fucking PS4 controller out the window, because you know what I'm saying. Like, if that's what we're doing, like, let's do it when it's needed. You know, and it's actually gonna maybe save a fighter's career, not a fucking so they can go get stitches 20 minutes earlier. Like, they're not gonna bleed out. Like, they're fine. Like,
not to mention, did you see Davy Grant's face after last night?
No.
Oh. It's all stitches. So it's like when are we what cut? How bad does a cut have to be? Or I'm with you, bro. I don't understand the cut shit at all. I just don't understand that.
Yeah, for sure, man. So that's kind of my perspective. Like, that's my context for feeling as strongly as I do.
Oh, now, my whole thing was just that her corner shouldn't allow her to go fight with one arm.
And I'm not even disagreeing with that. I just like I said, I've seen refs stop calling doctors for
lesser shit. Way lesser shit. Was that Gatorade Zero?
Yeah. I mean, I love Gatorade Zero, man, because Gatorade has so much sugar. Oh, yeah. And it doesn't taste like shit. It doesn't have that Diet Coke taste or anything, man. Like, if you're drinking regular Gatorade, you're just a fat piece of shit. I don't know. Like, what's the point? Like especially if you're drinking it while you're working out. Like, let me drink 60 carbs while I'm on the goddamn elliptical. Like, what are we doing here? Like, no nutritional facts. No.
Like, I get it if you fight a 15-minute war and then you drink a Gatorade after to get you some immediate electrolytes and sugars because your body literally just depleted so much shit. That's different, right?
Yeah.
When you're actually working out like day to day, real Gatorade is terrible.
Yeah, and then also, I mean, it's 2021. There's a lot more efficient ways to get electrolytes than just like heaps of cane sugar.
Yeah, there's way better.
Yeah,
way better.
Like, we literally get electrolyte tablets in college, but anyway. So, but man, this featured prelim. At first, whenever I saw it, I was a little confused, and I was like, man, this is the featured prelim. They're kind of trying to hype it up. I thought it felt a little forced. Man, like, such an entertaining fight. Dude, what a fun fight.
Negu Mariano might be up for Chin of the Year.
Chin of the Year? I was thinking the same thing, bro. I'm glad you said that. We earmarked that fucking doggy or that.
I literally already did. I wrote, like, Chin of the Year question mark on it.
No, seriously, man. So we got Alexa Camera, minus 240, former Gold Glove boxer. And, man, was that on display.
Crazy, right?
And then Nikolai, I'll let you introduce Nikolai. I called him NN in all my notes. I gave
Nikolai and Negu Mariano.
Okay, Negu Mariano Reeves, plus 200.
Bro, that's so funny you say that, because when I was reading his name, I was like, it's like Keanu at the end, but Rianu. And I literally thought of Reeves and Keanu. That's crazy. If
you're struggling out there, just watch The Matrix. Light heavyweight fight, and like I said, man, when I first, because Negu Mariano had a pretty long layoff, and Comer, I think, has one win, I think. So
over like William Knight recently. Right?
Yeah. So I was like, I was like, featured prelim for these guys, but man, they didn't disappoint. It was an absolute war, and largely due to styles.
Absolutely due to
the
styles.
Matchmakers, the matchmakers knocked this out of the fucking park, because you got a Gold Glove boxer with just the crispiest, fastest hands. And, like, the punch form is just beautiful to watch. Like, legit, if it was in a vacuum.
Like, in his little slips and rips.
Yes.
Dude,
man, it was fire. It was gorgeous. And then you got, I'm going to call him NN. You got NN. He's marching for just tank. I mean, he may have to get the next zombie nickname, the Romanian zombie. Because, I mean, just or the Romanian tank, or the Romanian bunker. Like, he literally doesn't hold his hands up. Like, it's almost like some Rod Tank type shit of just, like, eating shots to land shots.
And he also, like, would eat the shots, and they didn't affect him. Like, you know, sometimes you see a guy eat a shot, and, like, it throws their head, and then they look back, and he wasn't even, like, moving his head. Like, he was just eating him and just staring at him dead in the face. I was like, oh, my God.
It's like my eyes were deceiving me because Calmer would throw, like, one of the hardest, most beautiful punches I've ever seen.
And you know he
land flush. Yeah,
right.
You know he has power.
You know he has power because he's a Gold Gloves champ, right?
And then Nurmagomedov is just I'm gonna chill sending these names up, but anyway, he would just like literally just stoic, like wouldn't even had that thick neck, his chin wouldn't even like move that much.
That's what I'm saying. Like it wasn't even snapping his head. Like he was just like eating him like he was granite.
Terminator style for sure, man. Just such a chin, such a tough. And it's like he built into his game plan. Like, I don't know how sustainable it is. I don't see him having a super long career, but I see him being a super tough night out for anybody he fights, especially in the light heavyweight division for sure. And, round one was an absolute banger. I gave it to Nagur Manu, and it was a banger. It was a war. Both men landed bombs, but old NN got the takedown, and that I thought was like, besides the takedown, it was a coin flip, but the takedown makes it not a coin flip. I gave it to old Nikolai.
Wait, round one?
Yeah, round one. I gave it to Nikolai.
See, what's crazy is I wanted to do that, and then I looked at the strike numbers. It was 48-29, and Kamer was landing way, like, as far as power, if those were equal shots, he landed 19 more, like, power shots.
Yeah, but, and maybe I'm, see, this is
It's the chin. It's the chin. It's
no,
the chin. I'm telling you, because I literally went to the strike numbers because I was like, these guys just strike equal numbers, and I was like, whoa, what?
But
the
that
damage
matters,
is
right?
lost on
the judges don't have numbers, and I was looking at the numbers like when you're scoring a fight, and one guy's just when he gets hit, he does not like it. He's just like, eh. And like, and then the other guy eats a fucking firecracker and just
eats a 3-piece combo and is like, all right, I'll trade 3 to give you 1.
3-1. And another thing, it's kind of hard to hold it against him when that's like he made like that's what I'm doing here. Like that's not Calmer's choice. That's my choice that he's hitting me 3 times and I'm hitting him 1 time. Like maybe like I said, maybe I'm not looking at it objectively. That's how I just interpreted what I saw in the first round. I don't know. And like I said, actually, scratch that. I interpreted the striking as equal, just like you said. But then so you don't feel like Nikolai's takedown was enough to offset the strike.
The strike differential.
That's fair. That's fair. I thought. Like I said, the strike numbers, I kind of called it even, and then I gave Nikolai the takedown because kind of the decision maker. I'm not mad. It was a close round.
How weird is it though? The striking did feel pretty even. Like it felt even, but it wasn't at all.
Well, and what's your thoughts on kind of Kamer winning the first half of the first round and Nikolai winning the second half of the first round? It's kind of how it breaks down.
For sure. And
you know how I feel about the second half of round, so that kind of weighs in as well.
For sure. I think Kamer himself was in disbelief that his shots weren't having more effect by the midway point.
Yes, I agree with that for sure. And then round 2 wasn't nearly as close. I thought Nikolai started to use the clinch more. He controlled the cage with his forward marching kind of style. And it's crazy. The body language was so apparent in this fight. And like maybe too apparently. Maybe I factored in too much, but it was so obvious. The body language / if you kind of combine that with how they're eating shots, kind of lump that into all kind of one, like this kind of optics category.
Yeah.
It was super lopsided for Nikolai. Like Kamer just did not on the eye test.
It's so weird, right?
X's and O's. I'm not talking about strike numbers. Just eye test of who is not having a good time right now. It was obvious.
Who is not having a good time? Yeah, he was straight up not having a good time. I scored the second round to Nikolai based on the fact that Kamer's pace came down in the second. I think that he was starting to his arms were actually getting tired from punching this guy in the face so much. So that slowed his pace on his output.
He put so much on all those punches, man.
Right. And it's crazy because it's not like he was missing. Like he was connecting. No. I cannot believe the chin on this guy.
Seriously.
But then he started to get more grappling, got him up against the cage, was taking a little less damage in the second round. And I thought still doing a good job of trading back his 1 or 2 shots that he was doing the whole fight. So I gave the second to Nurmagomedov and had it 19-19, had it to the third.
For sure. Yeah, I had it 2018, but I agree with you, everything you said for round 2, and I'll actually just copy and paste that for round 3. It was pretty similar. But now I want to talk about the fucking 5 fence grab warnings. 5. Or maybe even 6. No
or
point
19. It was unbelievable, Mike Beltran. Mike Beltran was fucking up last night.
Yeah,
Can we just say that?
I'm not a big Beltran guy, and he fucked up in the Texas card too, man. Like he just, I don't know, man. You're all like, what have you done for me lately? I know he has like an illustrious career. There's a lot of nights he doesn't fuck up, but
dude, when he broke him off the cage and warned him, and then like
just
brought him to the center,
super sternly, like you're yelling at him. Like what is like? I don't care if you yell at him. The guy at camera doesn't care if you yell at him. Like let's like 5 warnings. I would have bet my fucking life savings that when they separated him, that a point was being deducted. All the commentary.
Oh, yeah.
And then he just yelled at him and then stood him back up.
Bro, and he was like slapping his hand off the cage. I was like, hey, if you have to slap his hand off, take a point.
Especially if you have to slap it off 3 times. So there was like 2 verbal warnings, 3 slaps, and then like they yell. I was not a fan. And that would have made this fight a draw.
Majority draw.
Yeah.
Which sucks too, because the 3rd round was also very close, and I literally wanted to score it to Negumereanu, but it's like he's cheating. So it's like I can't. I honestly, in good faith, I was like, I don't want to score that for him.
See, no, I feel you. I did anyway, but I totally felt the same way. I just like forced my hand to like write it, but my heart was like, man, that was fucking kind of cheap. But yeah, I feel it. I still gave it 10-9 because you got to score like what took place, not like an idealistic version of like what should have taken place. But
dude, this fight. You know why I say it like that is because if you looked at all this stuff on paper, Kamer can't lose. Like if you just looked at stats. He could not lose.
It was a weird fight.
But then you look at how it plays out, and you're like, well, fuck, I don't know who won that fight. You know what I mean?
I scored it 30-27, and I felt pretty good about it. But then when I saw it was a split decision, 1 judge gave it to Kamer, 2 judges gave it to Nikolai. And it was a split decision victory. But I honestly, I'm actually glad we had this conversation because whenever I was watching last night, I was like, split, what? But seeing your perspective, and you're right with the striking numbers, back up your point of view. I feel you. It was a good fight, and it was an entertaining fight. But that wraps up the prelims pretty much.
It's just so weird because, like, if that's any other person and they can't take that damage the same way, they would lose. But because Negumereanu has such a crazy chin and such a crazy damage threshold, we hold it against Kamer. It's just weird. It's not like we do, but we do. You know what I mean?
See, I don't think we hold it against Kamer. I think
we hold it for Negumereanu.
Yeah, and that's
but it's like that's not defense. That's not stopping strikes. That's just being able to eat them.
This also isn't PFL. It's all like
the strike numbers. That's what I'm saying. If it was PFL, Kamer
win. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but it's not. And I'm not like, I don't know, watching that fight in real time, kind of the whole Nate Diaz approach, like, Nikolai, I thought won the fight, like, and like hurt him more than Kamer hurt Nikolai.
And you're not wrong. Like, you're right. And I agree that I think Nikolai probably wins that fight. Like, if you just ask me to judge it like ONE FC style, like, yeah, Negumereanu wins. Why? Because he's just clearly the more like demonic possessed human that's just not going to lose.
No, seriously, but great fight, man, and great prelims, so entertaining. I was stoked. Definitely was excited for the main card, and then the main card just kept the train rolling with the finishes and the bangers, and nobody was scared to engage last night. That's for sure. Nobody was looking for decisions last night.
No. Do you want to take a break and come back to the main card?
Yes, sir. Yeah. We'll be right back, everybody, with the main card. This was the prelims, part 1 of episode 51 of Beefy Boys Breakdown. Go like and subscribe, everybody. We'll be right back.
Yes, sir.